let's talk about the sound design, because this is something that's relatively simple for a film like this. Excuse me. Let's zoom in here. So let's just break down, because it's only 9 audio tracks. Compared to other films I've done, that's not bad. That's not too many. And like there's scenes where I use a lot, but most of the scenes are only using like 4 or so tracks at a time. So let's just break it down. So first off, we have this stereo track where I'm either using, if there's footage directly from the camera, which I don't think any really lasts in the film, or like here, right? Like you can see like there's a little bit of like footage directly from the camera. You can see that the names match. Usually, of course, like I record audio completely separately. Like here, like you can see audio from the Zoom recorder, and then like that has a totally different naming convention. Audio is recorded separately. The Night Terrors lines are recorded separately, so you can see that those are the audio tracks there. On top of that, we have like room tones, and I usually, this is how I usually do it. Like I'll pull room tones from like a sample pack so that I can get something more specific. You know, like I can record room tones on the day, but I like being able to pull from a pack just to like give myself the time to say like, oh well, like depending on like the weather or the wind or the just like the some of the subtle noises like in the background, like this scene has hospital interior room tone. There's just a little bit of like light machinery like in the background, as if like people are like typing away, or like even using like, it sounds like typewriters. I'm not exactly sure what that sound is in the context of it being a hospital, but I really like it for the sake of these offices, because it's something that like just kind of makes the room feel a little bit bigger. It's like we don't see things happening really behind Max besides our location representative in the background there. But like we don't see much happening in the background, but I like using audio to create a larger sense of space. It's an illusion, right? Same here, like same audio is used here, and it kind of ties the office all together so that when you hear that background, you know that you're in the same space. So that's really important, and that's how I handle room tone for most of my projects. Like, and there are times where like, you know, if I'm like, I'll get room tone on location to be able to like really like cut dialogue together. If there's like a dialogue pause or something happens, like the mic is bumped, and I'm like, I use room tone to kind of like hide like kind of like flaws in between, like those kinds of things. But usually like, you know, like when I also have like an additional room tone, it's something that is you know, totally separate from the audio, just so I can be more specific to the sense of space. I think the Night Cave is interesting because I have 2 room tones here, right? I have these crickets, these night crickets, combined with these kind of like this like machinery sound in the background. It's like the Night Cave, right? Like I like the way that he's at his computer plugging away, and like we hear like these kinds of like, you know, processors in the background, right? That's what it sounds like. But let's talk about sound design here too. This is a shot. This is one of my favorite shots of the film. Like I press the like shower button, and then I squat. And what I'm trying to imply, of course, is that to get to the Night Terror's secret lair, you have to go through his secret entrance, which is of course an elevator disguised as a shower stall. And it's like, it's just total like miming, right? It's like, and I think like every audience member knows exactly what's happening here, but it works for the story. And like I love this shot of just like, you know, when you hear that and you hear like a digital button press, and then you hear the elevator movement, like I don't think you care that I'm just like squatting, right? Like I think it sells that like, oh, we understand that that's an elevator going underground, and that's filmmaking, baby. That's movie magic. And this is like an actual elevator sound that I recorded. Like obviously I said that like this sounds great. This is SFX Cellar. These are sample packs. But you know, like I'm also using like sounds that I'm actually recording fully for. So this is an actual elevator sound, I think recorded from a hotel nearby that I did delivery to. But there's a mix of that, right? Like a lot of sound effects are from a pack. We go into the chase scene, and these cars, like all the car samples are like from packs. Most of, like I don't think there's, maybe a couple of pass-bys. I wonder if I can find one, because I know that eventually there's a pass-by sound effect, or like a car pass-by that I know I recorded. But I don't know exactly where that is in the edit. I don't remember where I used it. Peanut shells. I recorded that sound effect. This is just a fun little thing, like to imply transformation. Like I wanted to like kind of, you to hear that his body is changing. And this is kind of like an effect used all throughout like werewolf movies, like using some kind of like crushing fruit, right? Or like peanut shells or something to like imply the sound of transformation. I think that's in like Thriller and American Werewolf in London. And I've used it before in like The Raven of Telltale. Yeah, I mean, just as far as that goes, the sound design's like pretty simple. Right? Like, I mean, it's just, it's as simple as it gets. Dialogue, room tone, music, easy. And a couple of extra sound effects as needed. It's not like 5 layers of car sound effects, right? Like it's just a couple of things. I really wanted to be specific because you can do that with audio and you can really layer a lot on. But here I was like, I want to like make sure that like whatever you hear is what you're supposed to hear. There's focus in how it's used, right? So it's like I don't feel the need to like stack layer upon layer upon layer. I also don't have the time to like, source all of those sound effects, find them, and figure that out. I just have time to like, create the bare essentials. Like this was a pretty quick audio mix. Like I might have spent like a couple of hours doing sound and that's it. If that, it might have taken like 1 hour to do all the sound effects. Like it was pretty easy. And I'm glad that it was. And I think like this film was designed with challenges in mind. But there's also things that like in practice, like weren't that bad. The major challenge was just this bridge scene. And I knew that would be tough. But it's something that like because of storyboards, because of everything I talked about with the visuals, like it came together not that bad. Oh yeah, this car passed by, I think that was something I recorded myself. So there's a little bit of my own Foley in here. Bathroom door creaks. Whenever the bridge shakes, it's just door creaks, and I think you can tell. But I really like that. That's all over the creaking bridge, right? It's just these door creaks. The Raven sound, while I'm talking about sound, let me bring attention to that because we hear this. This is a fox. I'm pretty sure this was a fox. When the Raven caws, that is just like an animal sound. That this was something I recorded in my backyard. Totally freaked me out. I had no idea what animal it was because it's like this scream, right? And it really freaked me out. And I was like, this is haunting. And like I could have like played with it, and, like edited a little more, added like growls and other animals. And pitch shifted it. Like I could have done all that, but I'm like, this sound is like scary enough on its own. I'm just going to play it as it is, directly recorded from a voice memo on my phone in the backyard. Because I think that's still scary enough. So to me, like, I think it works. I think if you're not familiar with animal sounds, you're not going to recognize it. And if you do recognize it, then there you go. That's a little Easter egg for you. The sound of the Raven is a fox. I think it's a fox. I never saw the animal, because I was in my backyard at night and I heard it and it just spooked me and I went inside. So I don't know that it's a fox, but I'm pretty sure it matches the recordings of other fox noises that I've heard online. But yeah, I mean, that's the essentials of the audio editing. It's not too complicated.